Well, pretty anticlimactic, not gonna lie. It was supposed to be a bigger main event. It was supposed to be something more interesting, more entertaining. And this is why Colby Covington, to me, is is popular, or at least he gets these shots. And we don't quite seem to understand it. Like, he got this shot against Leon Edwards. Maybe most likely didn't deserve it. He got his shot against Kamaru Usman the second time. Most likely didn't deserve it. Got it the first time. Yeah, he deserved it and stuff. But my point is, like, you see a tendency with Kobe that he wins one, he gets a title shot, and you're like, what the fuck? Why is he getting it? But the reality is he's able to build fights quite like nobody else, to be honest. And you have to give him that credit. As crazy as a star that Conor is, as crazy as a star that maybe like Masvidal and Nate Diaz was back a few years ago, they were never building fights the way Kobe does. And Kobe does it like tangible, like you could see what he does. Like when we talk about Masvidal and Nate Diaz, what we say is he's a superstar and he brings in pay-per-view. But like, their trash talk isn't all of that. I mean, their personality isn't all of that. Like, maybe they have a lot of fans, but it's not like nothing tangibles that they come in and they put on a show. Like, I think Kobe does that, and he does it outside of just the fight, right? He literally puts on a show at the press conferences. You cannot wait to see him talk. You cannot wait to see him trash talk. And also, you know that this guy is ready to cross lines to promote fights. Not a lot of fighters are willing to do that. A lot of us, will have boundaries and limits to what we're willing to say to other people just because of like general unwritten rules and respect boundaries, I guess, that we have upon, one another. Kobe is openly willing to break those to promote fights. And you have to give him credit for that. You have to give him credit for building up these pay-per-views because he's the one getting us interested. It's not Leon Edwards. It's not Leon Edwards at all. Leon Edwards is as bland as a fucking, chicken made by white people. Like, there's no seasoning to Leon Edwards. To be honest with you, like, if it's not for Kobe building up this fight, there's literally nothing going on, with Leon's promoting fight. Like, that's why I was saying in the previous video, imagine Leon Edwards versus Bilal, man. I mean, Bilal would have to carry it, and you know just how Bilal is boring too. That would be so bad. But to come back to my point, Kobe, I mean, respectfully, is very, very good at promoting fight. And I saw a lot of tweets, after he called out like Leon's dead father. And I mean, it's wrong. You can't. I think there's no way out of this one, buddy. There's no way out of this one. It's wrong. I mean, you can't look at it in any other way. But I have to say a big but. It is the fight business, and when you have someone that is willing to go this far to promote a fight, you have to think to yourself, like, he's doing something. He's putting himself as more like in more controversy. He's putting himself through more negative he's putting himself through more negative hate. He's putting himself, he's giving himself hate, and he's putting this pressure on his shoulder. That's the reason why he's getting the opportunities that others aren't. All right. I don't want to say that it's right the way he's doing it, but I just now maybe understand it more. I understand the justification behind it because he is putting in work into building these pay-per-views like no other. We were talking about it when Kobe got the fight, and it should have been Shavkat or it should have been Bilal, but would these guys would have built up this pay-per-view as much as Kobe would have? Probably not. So that's one thing you have to give credit to, but that's also my point where I'm coming back to it. As much as Kobe does the craziest work, the craziest, like, literally the character that he puts on to build up these pay-per-views, the show, or at least the fights, never actually fully, reach the anticipation that he puts on. You know what I mean? And so we always leave these fights like, but man, you said you were going to do this and you said you were going to do that. And that kind of builds I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit addictive. It's like he tells me he's gonna do something, and he went close. He came close a little bit this time, so maybe he's gonna do it this time. You know what I mean? It brings in some addiction. He's not scared to tell you he's gonna do something that deep down inside he knows he actually cannot do. He's not scared to lie to you straight in your face. He's not scared to tell you something that he truly in his heart doesn't even believe in, and it makes him special because of it. But yeah, I mean, the performances aren't matching what he says. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, last night it felt like a little bit like the Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul fight. You had like the biggest heel in the world coming on, talking the most amount of shit, basically being willing to be the biggest evil for the time being, for the promotion of the pay-per-view, but then coming into the fight doing absolutely nothing. That's what Dylan Dennis was for a brief moment, and that's what Colby Covington was last night. He came in, did pretty much nothing, threw maybe a few punches here and there every now and then had a takedown at the end of the 5th round and acted like he won. I mean, that was crazy bad. Not the most interesting fight of all time, in my opinion. But, I mean, what can you expect? When you have a guy like Leon Edwards, who's so technically crisp and technically good on the feet, not even just good on the feet, but obviously good at keeping it on the feet, Leon's is not the type of guy who's going to take a risk. He's not the type of guy who's going to put himself in danger to get a knockout. He's just never been that way. You look at his track record, it's decision after decision after decision. He's had this KO over Usman, but that's his style of fighting. He reminds me a bit of Izzy, right? He has these flashy moments sometimes, but the reality is he's a poised striker who does not take risk. And when you're Colby fighting a taller, longer, rangier guy, you have to take the risk. You have to be the one to take the risk, especially as a contender coming in, 35 years old. You want to take the belt. You have to be the one to take the risk. Leon is not going to be the one to do it. And we shouldn't be the one blaming Leon for not taking it because he's the champion. So I'm not going to blame Leon. Obviously, Leon wasn't the most interesting performance either, in my opinion, but he's the champion. He did what he should have done. It's Colby's, responsibility to go out there and try to win the title from the champion. Not saying, you have to take it from the champion. It's not that mentality that I'm saying, but you have to come in and try to chase it. And especially it's the way he fights usually, Colby. You know what I mean? Most of his fights are high pressure, high pace, high volume. And this one, he was the one backing away. He was the one running away from Leon. And it was just a weird fighting style from Colby to see. So, not the most interesting fight. I don't know what Colby has next. I heard him call out Stephen Thompson. That's just crazy weird. I don't know what was that about, to be honest. I have no idea. I mean, Shafkat just won. And he's saying that wouldn't make sense to make Shafkat because he doesn't have a big name. What? Stephen Thompson doesn't have the biggest name either, and he's 40 years of age. What are you gonna do? Just fight one time for the title, get a 40-year-old washed up guy, and then he's gonna call out the champion again? I'm next. I should be that's so stupid. That's so stupid. I mean, Colby's what is it his credibility kind of dwindled tonight. I mean, last night and in the post-fight press conference, it kind of dwindled. I mean, there's not a lot of people that are going to take him serious, and that's the risk you take when you play this heel role, because if you're not able to back it up, and not only you're not able to back it up, but after it, you're not coming down to your senses and at least trying to be realistic about your performances, about your future, about what you should do next. If you're not even willing to be realistic, then people are going to see it after a little while and be like, all right, this dude is just a clown. This dude is just saying shit. This dude is just talking. And then your words will lack meaning, will lack value because you just say shit, right? Your words will have a certain amount of weight up until people realize that what you're saying is absolutely dog shit, and people cannot trust you anymore for your words. Enough time goes by, and that's what happens. And that's what I think is going on with Colby's credibility right now. People are losing their trust with him, and he's gonna have to go out and get some very, very big wins, some good performances, and he have to accept that within himself. Okay, I have to go out and destroy Shavkat Rakhmonov. I have to go out there and be impressive against Bilal if it's that guy. I have to go out there and be impressive against whoever it is they put him, Kamaru Usman if they do that. I have to go out there and put in the work so that I can compete, because it's not just let me get the opportunity to get the title, but am I actually ready and good enough to get this belt? That's why Colby, I feel like his confidence maybe lacked a little bit. When you go out there and you fight these young up and comers, not only are you doing it because the UFC is asking you to do it, the fans want you to be active, but also you're doing it for yourself to build some confidence inside of you, so that whenever you get to the champion, you're like, listen, I've gone through this guy. I'm ready for this guy. I'm ready for fighting for the belt now. And I think this is why Colby's been lacking a little bit in confidence. You can see in the way he was fighting, he was timid, lack of confidence. And yeah, I mean, Leon is the champion. I just hope, like, especially if you're gonna fight a guy like Bilal next or something, you just have to be a little bit more exciting. Maybe this is bad advice. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I was in his corner, I wouldn't say this. But as a fan of Leon and as a fan of the UFC, you want to bring credibility to your name. You want to be like, you become a star, get bigger paychecks, have fans wanting to tune in to watch you. At least every now and then, take some risk, throw some combination, more than one at a time. Like, especially a guy like Leon who's so crisp on the feet, it would just be fun to see him do it. But I guess sometimes the risk is not worth the reward. I don't know. But I think it'd just be good for him to do it, to build up some popularity to his name, because since that UFC 278, I mean, it's a decision after decision after decision before that knockout. So it's like, I don't want Leon to become that boring champion that nobody wants to watch his fights for, because he's so good and he doesn't deserve that. But he has to put in that work to get our attention at least a little bit, especially as a fighter. That's what you want. So those are my thoughts on the main event. It'd be fun to maybe make a video on who I think each guy should fight next and whatever. I'll think about that. But yeah, I'm dropping a video on the fighting business who's gonna be an absolute banger. Let me give you a snippet of it. Just so you know what this is. I'm not even gonna say anything, but I mean, I'm putting in work to this on this video, so that, like, yeah, this one is gonna be big in my opinion. So this is what it is. I mean, what is a wag?
$6,000 in less than an hour. The magazines and tabloids were so gorged with WAG news that you could be forgiven for forgetting that there was a football game going on.
Yes, I'm working on something big. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the next video. And I was supposed to wait. I wasn't sure if I was going to want to drop this video right away. But because it was kind of a dull main event, nothing too big happened this weekend, I'm going to be able to drop it right away. So most likely on Tuesday, you're going to have a pretty nice video. Hopefully, you're going to watch it and let me know your thoughts. But let me know also your thoughts on this main event, what you thought about it. And I'll see you guys pretty soon, man. Peace out, boys. Peace out.